Hello, and welcome to the Pod Sound School podcast, the podcast that aims to help you improve your podcast and gets into the lifestyle and struggles of podcasters. This is your host, Veronica, and here with me is my sidekick, Pen in the Ribs, Studio Steve. We're back recording together. I am the social media, branding, and content strategies for the Pod Sound School. And what are you?
I'm a Nits. And also a producer and a creative director. And we're here to teach you all the skills and show you all the tools to help you create a podcast that people will go crazy about.
Sweet.
Yes. And in this episode, we're going to cover the different ways you can make money with your podcast on YouTube. What? And convince you once and for all that you need to start podcasting on YouTube. You know, we're always pushing you in that direction. So if you're just on the fence, this is going to push you over the fence.
Yeah, this is the year. This is the year that you're going to be on YouTube. We're here to give you the
push.
The push.
Just jump into the pool.
But before we move on, don't forget to share this episode on your social media and tag us on Instagram or Twitter. Studio Steve is an attention whore. He likes a lot of attention.
I do. Okay, let's get to the episode. Making money from our podcast is so difficult. You know, if you've been podcasting for a while, that once you Google it, it becomes very frustrating or it can be very discouraging. You'll see articles written like 99% of podcasters make zero money from their podcast. When you learn about advertisers, it's like you have to have 20,000, 30,000 downloads per episode to be able to really be attractive to those advertisers. So you have podcasters getting together in collectives or podcast networks because together you might not get 50,000 downloads on one episode, but together 10 of you can get that, and they come together in 10 and they sort of share their audiences to approach advertisers, and it's so painful.
Yeah, you will feel like you're fighting the giant.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to start making money with your podcast, you need a very good amount of listeners and downloads. And then you start thinking, how do I do that? And then you turn to the podcast directories, and they are not really doing anything to push your episodes, your podcast, so you can have more visibility.
Yeah.
That's another thing that you have to overcome, is like how you are basically practically invisible. And you just have to, like I said, fighting with the giant.
Yeah, and I really like what you touched on there with the podcast players aren't really doing anything. And I know if you've been podcasting for a while, you're probably wondering what's up with the podcast players. Why isn't there an algorithm there that I can kind of hack or get into that can make my podcast suggestible? Like actually on Apple Podcasts, you know? I mean, I can just show up on TikTok, and if I'm consistent and if I make a bunch of TikTok videos, eventually TikTok's going to pick me up and show me more people.
I know, and it's so frustrating. And I put myself, because we are indie podcasters too, and you put so much work into your podcast episodes. There's research. There's a lot of ththings that go into producing a podcast.
Yeah, and
then you have these people like dancing and doing pendejadas on TikTok
and pointing at bubbles.
And they get millions of views. Like there's something wrong.
And with those millions of views comes a lot of new opportunities, comes networking, comes all of a sudden becoming an authority in whatever the topic is or the niche is around their TikTok, right? Why isn't anything on the podcast players like that? Now, I do think they're moving in that direction, and there are a lot of advancements moving in that direction, especially with Spotify and Google. Apple's just kind of like, hey, we're Apple. We'll do whatever the hell we want. But in the meantime, there is a better way to actually get views, to actually utilize an algorithm, and that is on YouTube.
Yes, and we're not making stuff up. We're talking here from our experience.
Yeah, and from the
all
experience.
the growth and the benefits that we've seen in our business and in our podcast and our content creation that's coming from YouTube.
And all the money that's coming from YouTube as well.
And all the money that's coming from YouTube.
Now, with the size that our YouTube channel is, we're not making enough money that would be able to support us and our family, but it is a strong income stream, and it is a lot more money than we're making with our podcast. Now, we have pushed our YouTube channel a lot harder than we've pushed our podcast because we saw the immediate results we were getting from it. And there's a lot of objections to this, right? Like I have a podcast that has lots of different topics that I cover and things. So I'm not really meant for YouTube, right? I can't really fit into YouTube. And there may be a chance that some podcasters just aren't going to be a good fit for YouTube. And that's totally, and if that's you, that's totally fine. But even if you're not a good fit for YouTube, you really do need to start incorporating video and throw yourself into new places where you're uncomfortable and get that face on camera and get out there and be on IG stories and be on TikTok and be anywhere, somewhere else where there is algorithms that you can plan and strategize content and, learn how each one of those platforms works to where you can hack the algorithm, as they say, and actually grow and actually get the recognition that you deserve.
Amen.
Well, thank you.
Okay, sure.
I'm glad to hear I missed you on the last episode, actually.
You missed me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
When you did your episode? Well, fine. I didn't miss you either, actually.
I was having a lot of fun.
It was kind of nice to just be in my own filth. I didn't shower that day. So why don't we move on to, I think there's 6 different points, right? Mm-hmm. You want to take the first one?
Yeah, so the first one is YouTube ads. And every channel is different depending on their audience. But if you're consistent posting videos with value on YouTube, you can be making money within a year or so, because we experienced that with our channel.
Yeah.
One of the requirements for you to be eligible for YouTube ads is that you have to hit 1,000 subscribers on your channel. And it takes on average 22 months. But if you applied YouTube best practices, optimize your videos and all that stuff, and upload frequently, you can get there in less than a year, I would dare to say.
Yes. And actually, while we're on that topic, we have a really cool freebie for just that you can download. All you have to do is visit the episode description right where you're listening to this and click on that link. It's a really helpful guide that will give you the ideas of how you can start transforming your podcast from audio to also video. So make sure you check for that.
And number 2.
YouTube channel membership.
Membership. Just trying to do some good sound effects there. Channel memberships are really cool. This is basically like Patreon or another crowdfunding platform built into YouTube, which I love. Can you imagine if Patreon was actually built into Apple Podcasts? So you could say, hey, hit a button there.
I know.
And join my membership and you'll get bonus content.
I know.
Right?
I have strong feelings when it comes to Patreon.
Yeah, and Patreon's also a pain. I don't know if you have a Patreon or if you have to sit on the phone with your mom for 35 minutes to get her to be your 4th patron, something's going on there, right? Like people,
the $2 tier.
Yeah, actually, I think Grandma Sandy is a $10 tier for us.
Tier?
Yeah, on our Patreon. So thank you, Sandy, if you're listening to this. She's a great support of our podcast, and she, doesn't even know much.
No.
But she does have a great podcast you could check out. Anyhow, it's just a great solution for that. So how it works is very similar to Patreon. YouTube charges a certain amount. It's actually a very minimal amount for that. You're allowed to have different tiers. So each tier you can include more goodies and more videos and more behind the scenes stuff. You can actually go live right there also to your audience. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, there are things you can do. You can have custom emojis for your members, badges, live chat access, or bonus content. You can go live only for your members.
Yeah.
And for your subscribers or people watching your videos, for them to sign up for your membership is so easy, because the button to join the membership is just right by the subscribe button. So it's just very easy to find.
Yeah.
And everything will be in just one platform.
Yeah.
So the issue I have with Patreon is that it's not very user friendly. If somebody wants to join your Patreon, they have to create an account with Patreon. But if they want to join your membership on your YouTube channel, chances are that that person already has an account on YouTube or Google, and they don't have to create a new account.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is that notifications, every time something happens on your Patreon, then you get emails instead of little reminders
right on your phone.
Or right on your phone. But on YouTube, then every time somebody comments on your videos or every time something happens with your membership or anything, you get a notification on your phone and you can reply right away, and not missing out on interacting with your members, not missing out on interacting with your viewers. Right there on the spot.
Right there on the spot, right? So it's definitely a better option than Patreon is. And so really the trick is to just get on there and start using a strategy to really start making videos or repurposing videos from your podcast episodes that are going to perform well on YouTube. And you do need to follow a certain formula, and you do need to be consistent, and it is going to require extra work. You're not just going to be able to, have a phone off in the corner of the room recording yourself while you're podcasting, you're going to need to put more strategy and effort and a little bit of video editing
Yeah,
into it.
definitely.
But
we don't have a membership on our YouTube channel yet.
No.
But if you want to check this out, we have, I think, Eric Hunley.
Yeah,
Eric Hunley. He has a membership going on his YouTube channel. You can go check it out.
Yeah,
we'll drop the link in the
we'll drop the
description.
link for it, or you could search for Eric Hunley on YouTube. He has a really cool podcast that he has entirely repurposed YouTube. He goes live on YouTube. And within a year, he went from, 600 subscribers when we kind of started working with him and helping him to optimize his channel. He went from 600, now he's at 10,000?
10,000 or more.
Which is insane.
I know.
And
Isn't that
is
crazy?
a type of listenership and audience that he never had in his years of podcasting. And he was putting out a couple hundred episodes or something. I think it was like 100 episodes or more of really good, really well thought out, really awesome interviews. And now he's really getting the attention I think that his podcast deserves.
Yes.
Anyway, so do you want to move on to number 3?
Number 3.
Affiliate marketing.
Affiliate marketing is a great way to start making money with your podcast on YouTube. And it's so easy. You just have to sign up if you're going to do it through Amazon, you just have to sign up for the associate.
The associates program, I think.
For the associates program for Amazon. And then you start getting commissions on sales that you make on Amazon.
Yeah,
right?
and it's so easy to find products that match with the topic of your shows, whether it's books you read or products that you use or things that you know your listeners are going to be buying. And you can also drop these affiliate links in your podcast episodes, but people aren't really in the descriptions very often on the podcast players. They're in their headphones, they're in their car. When you're actually watching YouTube, you're actually holding your phone looking at it. So it's more likely you're going to hop into the description. They're like, ooh, I do want to check out that book. And so it can be easier and more realistic and more profitable to drop those Amazon links. And then in addition to that, let's say you're only getting 100 downloads per episode on the podcast, but you have 1,000, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's actually easier. There's social proof there. There's nothing on any of the podcast players that show how many listens or how many downloads you get. That's up to you. That's on the analytics of your podcast host. But on YouTube, it's displayed publicly for everyone to see. So even just a couple thousand downloads, you have a very niche market. You can approach companies and you could say, hey, I think that our brands align. I think my listeners, my watchers, my viewers here on YouTube would really like your products. Do you think there's any way we can get an affiliate situation going on? And then suddenly you get 10% anytime somebody subscribes to a service and so, for example, we have lots of affiliates. We have Riverside FM. We have Squadcast. Those are competitors. Descript. You know, we have a lot of good affiliate relationships. There's a few more. I'm forgetting what they are right now. We'll leave them all in this episode, and you should click on them because we get a little commission. And it's pennies at first. All of this is pennies at first, but you start putting eggs in lots of different baskets, and you start getting these little income streams, and it's really cool.
And it works really well for YouTube because you will be getting a lot of traffic over there. A lot of people that may not turn into subscribers, but they just click on that link and buy the product or sign up for the service. So,
and this is just a really great way to start monetizing and start getting some income coming in. And then let's move on now to
Number 4.
And number 4 is similar to affiliate links.
Brand deals.
Brand deals.
So something that we've been experiencing ourselves with our content on YouTube is that brands are approaching us to make videos for them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we were just stoked to know that people are willing to pay for us to make a video for them.
Yeah.
And this is something that you can start experiencing too the more you grow on YouTube.
Yes.
People and brands will approach you and be like, hey, would you make a video for us and we'll pay you X amount of money.
Yeah. And it can be $1,000, $2,000. That's been kind of the negotiating rate when you're under maybe 25,000 subscribers. And then it also has to do with views on a certain video. So all of this, you're thinking, yeah, right, but I don't have that many subscribers yet. I'm not ever going to get that many subscribers. You will. You will get that many subscribers. You just have to keep growing, keep getting uncomfortable, keep trying new things, and keep adapting. And like Veronica said, it takes about 22 months on average. But if you employ really good strategies, it can happen way faster. Eric went from 600 to 10,000 in less than a year. We went from 1,000 to 30,000 basically in a year. So that growth is huge. We never seen anything like that on our podcast. We still love our podcast audience, and we love you, and we love that you're listening to us right now, and we'll always show up here for you. But it's also cool to have audiences in different places. And we're going to have more episodes. We're going to dive into YouTube best practices. So stay tuned for that. But right now, we're just trying to convince you and tell you it's realistic that you can actually make money on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'll take number 5.
Okay.
Merch.
And products.
Merchandise and products.
So this is pretty cool as well, too. As podcasters, I don't know if it's because maybe a ton of us are from the 90s and the 80s as teenagers or something, but we love to have merch. And I don't think you as a Colombian understand this.
I don't know. I don't like merch.
Or the stickers and the buttons and the mugs
No,
and
I
the
don't.
t-shirts.
I don't like the t-shirts no.
But see, I think
I'm not that kind of a fan.
And you don't put stickers on your laptop or on your cars or
Absolutely
anything.
not.
Yeah, no. So, but
I don't like stickers.
the merch thing is just fun. It's like something about, and you weren't that impressed when we first got our Pod Sound School stickers either.
No.
I love those things.
We just don't have that in Colombia.
No. And it's kind of a waste of money really to purchase a ton of merch that you're really just going to wind up giving away for free. But it's fun, and it's kind of hard not to do it. But with companies like Teespring, there's a bunch of other ones. Teespring's a very popular one on YouTube. You can actually, once you reach a certain level of subscribers, I think it's 1,000 subscribers there too, you can start selling merchandise. And you've seen that on YouTube channels, I'm sure, where you see t-shirts and mugs and different things. But what's cool is you do the design, which you can either pay somebody to do, or you can get into Canva and get creative yourself. And then you submit the design to Teespring, and they sort of put that design on top of a t-shirt or a mug or whatever, and they print it when somebody orders it. So you don't have to order 100 t-shirts. And again, that's kind of a pennies trickling in kind of thing. Those are going to be your super fans who are going to order a $20 t-shirt, and then you only get $8 for it or whatever. But it is an income stream. And it's also, if somebody does order that t-shirt, they're going to be a walking little brand ambassador for you as well. So that's one way. Also on YouTube.
Yeah, they can take selfies and post them on social media and tag you and do things like that.
Yeah. And then
I can see the value in it.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun. And I think it's just maybe something culturally.
I'm a Patsky.
We're going to come up with some merch.
Yes.
We're thinking, and don't steal this, but we're thinking Pod Puppy.
Pod Puppy.
For little like baby shirts that people could get, or like help, my dad's a podcaster for little kids. I don't know why.
Proud Patsky.
Proud Podsky. Proud Podsky, or proud dad of a Podsky, or what? My son's a podcaster and he makes more than your lawyer son, or something like that, right? I don't know. Like, you went to law school? I didn't graduate high school. We're just getting way off track now. But the last one, and this is the 6th way, I think it's my favorite, that you can make money off YouTube. There's actually many other ways, but these are the main 6.
Yeah.
And that is
promoting your own products and services.
Promoting your own products and services.
And if you've been watching your videos, that is something that we do a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of services, and no, we don't have a lot of.
Oh no, but we
have courses and services,
Yeah.
and we have free trainings that we do for our community.
Yeah.
So we promote this a lot on our YouTube videos, and also we add descriptions and links to our description of our videos. So that is something that we do a lot, and it's something that we have seen a lot of traffic coming from YouTube. And we've done our sales are pretty good. I would say,
our
in my
sales
opinion.
and our sales and our courses, and then also the new client relationships. And we've been able to bring on clients, and now we've expanded to doing podcast editing on a small level. We do podcast cover art. We do podcast consultations. We do one-on-one consultations. We do all the stuff that's coming from YouTube, basically.
And it's stuff that is evergreen.
Yeah.
So it's not like a podcast episode that is shows, and then when you release the other podcast episode, then it's just hard for people to find the older podcast episodes. These are videos that are evergreen, and I mean, you can go to bed and then the next morning you wake up and you have sold your products, you have sold your services. And it's just pretty cool to wake up to that and be like, man, I didn't do much.
Yeah.
Because you already put all the work into making that video and promoting your services or products there.
Yeah, and so it's kind of indirectly making money from YouTube, which is actually how we make money with podcasts too, is indirectly usually. So when somebody says, I don't make any money with my podcast, actually they do, because they've built up authority, they've rubbed shoulders, they've networked, the power of association, they've become an expert because of their podcast. All of that applies on YouTube as well. And you see a lot of people like in real estate and in food and in like all sorts of, and even lawyers and like everybody from all walks of life that generate leads from YouTube. And those leads, they nourish and put into some type of sales funnel or some type of relationship. And that relationship, they turn into email lists and everything. So I think finishing this episode up, a quick takeaway, a quick tip or a hot tip right at the end here is, with every YouTube video you make and with every podcast episode that you record, make sure that you attach a little piece of monetizing something in there. Make sure that you generate a lead out of your listeners, something that is going to give them value, show your appreciation for them, and in exchange, they'll give you their email, because then you can nourish a relationship. And that is why, I mentioned that freebie we have. It's exactly what it is. We want your email address, and we want to help you to grow, and we want you to be our student in our course. And actually, we currently, as you're listening to this, are underway developing with our Spy Elite members. We're developing our best course so far. It's so amazing. We've done 2 courses already, the Smart and Sexy Podcast Launch, and then we also did Reaper for Podcasters, which is audio editing software. And now we're doing Smart Podcasting on YouTube. And it's amazing. We've partnered with Nick Nimmin. We have some other partners that we're talking to as well. And we're also working with a group of elite podcasters who signed up that we're picking their brains, and they're helping us to collaborate through workshops that we're doing to come out with this course that's just going to blow your socks off and really help you to podcast on YouTube like a maniac.
Yeah, we're super excited about the program.
Yeah, you can tell I'm a little pumped up, right?
Yeah, another takeaway is that don't get so fixated in just one way to make money with your podcast, or there's only one way to podcast. Really, what you just need to do is to open your mind to new possibilities and new ways to make money, even if, like Steven said, even if it's just a little money, then you're going to have all these different streams of income that you're going to see grow as your influence and as your channel and your podcast grows. So I would do like different things and different ways that you can start making money, and then you just keep creating your content.
Yeah. And
there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money with your content.
No, not at all. And then the other thing you could do once you start making that money, immediately use it to grow your podcast more. Don't even put it in the bank. Just give it to a podcast editor.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with the money that we're getting from YouTube.
Yeah,
we were
YouTube.
able to hire our first video editor, and it's been so
amazing.
great. It's been amazing because
There's so
that
much talent
is
out
freeing
there.
time for you.
Yeah, it's freeing time for you. It's also providing a cool gig for really talented video editors or podcast editors.
And that means that you're going to have more time to create more videos.
More videos, more podcast episodes. Hop on Instagram stories, make shorts for TikTok and Instagram Reels and for YouTube Shorts, and just be all over social media, constantly grabbing more leads and engaging and learning more about people and just dominating the world that you're in with your topic and with your niche that you're in.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all we have for this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica.
Well, thank you, Stephen.
You can do the next episode by yourself.
I feel like you did all the talking.
I did. You're kind of a little like spaced out a little bit today.
I know. It is Friday night and I'm hungry.
I know. I'm hungry too. These little snacks, I don't know what's going on here. I'm pretty sure we've had COVID 3 times now.
I know. It's been kind of weird.
I don't know what's going on. And, it's not just us. I mean, you look back at pictures of anyone and they look 7 years older than they did last year, right?
I know.
It's this like weird stress.
It's the homeschooling and the stress and, elections and
all that stuff.
And, crazy things happening in politics and riots and
but just
things that we've never seen before.
Just so you Podskis know, just so you know, Podski listening to this, we love you. No matter what you've been going through, no matter what your political views are or where you're at in the world.
Oh my gosh, we don't know what we would do without you.
Yeah, for sure. And Here's to a healthy year, to really making things happen with your podcast.
Yes.
And keep us updated with your progress. You know as well as we know that podcast listeners, maybe it is because we're multitasking. But take some time. Come over at Pod Sound School. Veronica's on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Also, we have our Facebook group, Podcasting for Bosses. And come say hi to us. Come let us know what you're struggling with, what ideas you have, if you need to run an idea past us. What we're doing is to help podcasters make something big and achieve great things with their podcast. So take advantage of us. We're here for you.
Yes, we are here for you. Bye-bye.
We've had enough of this nonsense.
And there you have it, Podski. What did you think of this episode? Slide into our DMs and let us know.
We make this show for you, and we'll love to learn your feedback. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Pod Sound School. Make sure you share a screenshot of this episode and tag us so we can give you some love on the Instas.
Yeah, and if you're interested in our feedback, we do pod audits most Thursdays live in our Facebook community, Podcasting for Bosses. These are 30-minute coaching sessions where we dissect your podcast, your social media, and your content. You'll find the sign-up sheet inside the group, podsoundschool.com/community.
And until next time,
Happy casting,
amigos!